We all know the importance of an omni-channel approach in today's market, but many brands are fearful of jumping onto new social media platforms and how they should go about doing so. I'm going to break down all the details of each and how you can contextualize your message on all of those platforms, stemming from the exact same content sometimes. First, let's start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's going to be the B2B business platform, but this doesn't have to be limited to articles and boring ass text posts. What you can do is get unique with storytelling with the one line style, tell a story within that, provide a valuable lesson at the end, and include a call to action that asks your audience and community to engage. You can do video content breaking down business topics, kind of like this. You can also do kind of those swipe through graphics that explain certain things. And so that's a full breakdown of the LinkedIn platform. In terms of your messaging, it doesn't have to be totally rigid and professional. You can kind of add in some flavor, but you should still be what I would call business casual. Next is TikTok, which is probably the polar opposite of the LinkedIn platform. So it's vital that we, transition into that one next. Now on TikTok, it is vital that you understand what is trending. What is trending in terms of the memes, the sounds, the trends, some of the video content that's kind of being pushed across the platform, and that you understand the joke inside of those, because it's not always as obvious as you think. Gen Z in particular is best for having those inside jokes that make absolutely no sense, which is also why it's funny. So first of all, understand that. Second, in your messaging, there's a lot of fourth wall talk, or breaking the fourth wall talk inside of TikTok, where people will say, this took so much time to make this post hit, or like, yo, if this gets 1,000 likes, like I'll do this or whatever. So it's all about like growing on the platform, which is unique because you typically wouldn't talk about that on other platforms. Now, Instagram is next because I think that's a happy medium in between. Obviously, you're gonna need a visual graphic similar to TikTok, which is gonna be short form video. And on Instagram, it's evolving quite a bit. The feed is, so glorified and so like desired, and people are so careful about what they put on their Instagram feed, but Instagram stories are equally popular. And so what we're advising a lot of our brand partners is to put your content on the feed, promote that in your story, as well as sometimes put the more important content in your story, because people are actually gonna watch that, whereas the feed, they might just scroll all the way through. Next is Facebook, which don't even get me started on Facebook. You're gonna have to put some paid media budget behind it, or just have an existing community built and scale out through that. Probably the biggest thing on Facebook is standing out with that combination of written and visual. So similar to LinkedIn, you can definitely get more creative with the written part, because it's not just showing up in a caption like it would on Instagram. So you can kind of tell a story within that and then show that story within photo and video. I see Facebook as kind of the consumer version of LinkedIn, of which I prioritize LinkedIn, so that's why I'm saying it. Really, it's probably the opposite, right? So that's how I see Facebook. Facebook stories, if you can, similar to Instagram, post the important stuff to your Facebook story, it might get more views and impressions. Really depends on your brand, but that's what we would advise. Next is YouTube. YouTube is typically for long form video content, but it's important to note it is the second largest search engine in the entire fucking world. So potential consumers, clientele, buyers are typically searching on Google for you. And if you can rank first on YouTube, it will often be shown in the display, as well as if they go to YouTube to independently search on that to learn something, which is what a lot of individuals use YouTube for. For instance, how to change my tire, then put your tire ad on top of it. You can specifically target that. So YouTube, their ad product is incredible. I need to do another episode where I talk about all the different ad products from all the different social media channels. But for the organic, what I would be thinking about doing is ranking for those keywords. So someone searches how to market to Gen Z, let's make sure that TrndsttrsMedia has that first video that pops up. And then also I'd be thinking about series content. So a lot of people think that they need to make like super polished videos and it needs to be like 5 minutes to put on YouTube, but in reality you could do the same content you're putting on Instagram that's 1.5 minutes and just put it to YouTube just for the search things or for the search population, but make sure you put kind of a nice clean thumbnail on that, as well as a good title, or else pretty much no one's gonna click onto that. Now next is Snapchat. Snapchat is a really unique platform. I was bullish on this, several years ago. This is how I kind of got my career started in marketing and advertising. But the reality is it's kind of a forgotten platform. And a lot of brands are having trouble connecting to it. Their ad product's incredible. Like I said, I'll have to dive into that another time. But really what it's been used for is the vertical style shows. SportsCenter has a really good one. There's some others as well, I'm sure, BuzzFeed, some of these other brands. But overall, it's not as easy to get onto Snapchat as a brand. So we advise most of our client partners that aren't very unique and tailored to that in terms of their messaging to avoid Snapchat. Now, the final one is everyone's favorite, Twitter. To me, Twitter is where if you're a brand, you can pretty much take off your work clothes and throw on like your most, sketchy outfit possible and just start berating people, which is what a lot of brands do on Twitter. That's where you'll see Fortune 1000 brands pretty much talking shit on like 9-year-old kids that say something bad about their product. So it's comical in that sense. Twitter has really unique siloed out communities for pretty much everything, and it's almost like kind of a cult following, similar to that kind of insider knowledge and insight. So Twitter, if you are going to explore and crush Twitter, your reach is going to be awful. You're going to get very low engagement. But if you can connect with the community and actually engage, then Twitter can be very beneficial because you can go viral instantly. So my advice on Twitter is, if you have the resources and the team, go all in on Twitter, but you need to go with someone who truly understands that platform. If you don't, I wouldn't waste your time on it. But that's just my take. What are some social media platforms that I'm missing? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and let me know how you are continuing to contextualize your content across all these different channels. And I'm sure there's gonna be more that we're gonna add to this. Before we know it, there's gonna be 15 different social media channels we have to post to. So getting this down now before this becomes 15, 20, 25 is going to be vital for the future success of your brand.